So happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Welcome to our February newsletter. First, I'm going to recap January. It's been so cold here in Minnesota. In fact, our January 1st, our family started at the Winter Classic in Minneapolis when it was like 1 degree below zero and the wind chill was 30 below, and we're still standing outside watching a hockey game, which is crazy. We were bundled up like the kid on Christmas Story, like I can't move my arms. I actually had electric socks on trying to keep us warm. And then it just kept rolling, and the cold weather didn't stop us. Here in the St. Croix Valley in Stillwater, we had so much going on, and I'm going to bring Sherry, one of our agents, on, and we're going to kind of recap that and talk about other things going on in February. We're also in this newsletter going to talk about first-time home buyers, and Chantel and Connie are going to come in. They both have some really great insights on that. Then we'll bring Dave, our lender, on, and we'll talk about the interest rates, which everybody has questions about. And then we'll wrap it up with a little rehab corner. So that's our February newsletter. And before all that, we have the Super Bowl coming up this month, the Rams versus the Bengals, who haven't been in it since '88. I guess that's a big deal. And then we have Valentine's Day. So please stick with us, and we'll start out by talking to Sherry and everything great and wonderful about the St. Croix Valley. As I was saying, there's so much great things that happens here in Stillwater in the St. Croix Valley, no matter what the temperature is or the weather. And so Sherry is here to share with us some of the things that happened and how fun it was, and then some of the things that we have coming up.
Okay, so January was big in the St. Croix Valley.
Yeah.
We had the World Sculpting Championship in Stillwater for the first time. We had teams from like 6 countries around the world. People all over coming down to see these sculptures, and they were fabulous.
Yeah, did you have a favorite?
No, I had a few of them. So I wasn't going to pick because, but I loved them. It was so fun, and it was just fun to have the energy and all the lights down there.
I know.
And then when people left there, they'd go right down the street to the Zephyr Theatre because there's the big ice maze, which is bigger and better this year too. So lots of great outdoor stuff right on that one little area of town. So
right, and the snow sculptures are still up. So until they melt and kind of get dissipated,
well, it's not safe.
Right, it's not safe.
Yep.
So still come down and walk through. We just did this Saturday with some friends because there was another event Saturday.
Yep, there was. So there was Fire and Ice. And also it was the fundraiser for the Washington County Historical Society. So that happens every year, and Leo's Grill and Malt Shop donates ice cream to that. So even on the coldest of days, people stand outside and have ice cream cones and donate to the Historical Society.
Only in Minnesota do you eat ice cream when
Right.
it's like 10 degrees outside.
Right. So, and now we're in February, and we're going to continue with all sorts of outdoor activities. We've got pond hockey, we've got the big bocce ball tournament.
Oh, yeah. At Brian's, right?
At Brian's, right on the back road there. We have, there's a fat tire bike race.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
I think that's like the bike race across the bridge, I think.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's going on. What else?
We have the skating rink is still up.
The skating rink is still up. The ice maze is still up. As far as the shops downtown, we have a Paint the Town Red sort of activity over Valentine's weekend, where the stores, sort of focus on their own specialties and different sales. And then, of course, that weekend is huge for the hotels and the restaurants down here.
Yeah. And we have amazing restaurants in Stillwater and Hudson. We just are so fortunate.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
We do. So make your reservations now if you want a hotel room.
Yeah. It might even be a little late, but
I know.
You can try.
I know. So, and all the restaurants, we have restaurants that are serving, really fancy food, right down to, bar food, down to just small plates and fabulous drinks.
Yeah.
There is so much down here for everybody.
And speaking of fabulous drinks, I'm going to put a little pitch in to follow us on social media, because we do a Thirsty Thursday, and it's kind of a little silly, but we try to get around to all the restaurants and coffee shops and kind of highlight them and their drink. And so follow us on social media and check out every Thursday, because we usually have somewhere we're cheersing to.
And I just want to mention too, if you're down here for Valentine's or anytime this month, make sure you hit our fancy chocolate shops. We have 3 candy stores downtown. They all have a little bit of a different specialty, but who can resist chocolate, especially when it's Valentine's?
We should look up a stat on that. Like, it's got to be the month where everybody sells the most chocolate. Don't you
Right.
think?
I would guess.
I would guess. All
So,
right.
yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. So,
All right. So speaking of Valentine's Day and being young and in love, let's talk about being young and a first-time home buyer. So we have Connie and Chantel here, and with some great insights if you or someone you know is looking for their first home. Let's talk first-time home buyers. And the reason I have Connie and Chantel here is, first of all, you just bought your first home about 3 years ago, so it's still fresh in your memory.
Yep.
And you are working with some of our first-time home buyers, so you're out there in the trenches right now.
Yep.
So a lot of good insight on that. And then Connie, similar to me, we've been in our homes for a while, but our kids and our nephews and nieces and friends' kids are all in that first-time home buyer range and out there and looking. And
Right.
so just a different perspective, right? So let's start with, what is one of the things some first-time home buyers, like misconceptions or something they should know?
Right. So I think one of the biggest things that people don't know when they go into buying a home is how much money do they need to put down. I think so many people have this idea in their head that they need 20% down. And in this day and age with student loans and inflation and everything like that, saving up 20% feels like it could take a lifetime, right?
Yeah, it can.
Yeah, for sure. But the good thing is that you don't need to have 20% down. You can have as little as 3%, and there's even some really great down payment assistance programs out there where you could even do as little as $1,000. Now, if kind of depends on if you qualify for those, but our mortgage guy Dave, he is a great resource for that.
Yeah, he is. And that's a really good point, because everybody has this 20% number. I think the national average is 12%
Yep.
down payment. And like you said, depending on the program, you can go as low as 3. And then there's some other things around it. So, okay, so we got the down payment. What's the other challenge for first-time home buyers? And you and I have talked about this previously.
Yeah, it would really be the inventory. It's what's out on the market. If you start looking around for first-time home buyers, there's not much out there
And a lot of competition.
and a lot of competition. So if you got, I look, if you have family or friends that are considering a move, it's a good time.
If you're a move-up buyer, so you started in, your first home, you've been there for a few years, now's a good time to do that, so then your home will sell very quickly. There's some conditions around that. Or what about, you and I also talked about downsizing, or people, maybe we have elderly parents that are moving into, senior living. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so then you have people that are in bigger houses looking to move smaller, and you have young families that are looking to go bigger. And so it's really finding a market for all those people.
Right.
And I think for some it's, like I know my kids wouldn't care if they had to do a little elbow grease,
Right.
painting of the walls, so you don't really have to perfect your house. There's people that are willing to buy it
Yeah.
right now as it is, really.
Especially when we're talking about maybe someone who's been in their home, not just 20 years, but 30 years, 40 years. They're older, unable to do some of the work. Their kids, adult children, are so busy.
That they don't have time to help them with that.
We have buyers that are
Yes,
willing to
we
roll
do.
up, right? Roll up their sleeves and do that extra work. We could probably do I even did that. So if you've been following us, I moved into a townhome. I did that with my buyer. It was my client, but I just basically went in and said, you don't do anything. We'll arrange for the company Home to Sweet Home, came in, packed them, moved them, got all their stuff out. We have other people who can come in and do some of the repairs or not, and then we move the buyer in. It's pretty slick.
Yeah, and I think it's pretty important, anybody that's buying a house, you want to make it your own. So whether it's painting your walls, redecorating different things on your window treatments,
Yep.
really you want your own taste in there. So to update it now, who says that
Right.
a younger couple that moved in is going to like what you pick? So why
Right.
not just sell it as is and let them do the choosing?
Yeah, and I think the bottom line there is bring an agent in and have them tell you, don't do anything, we have a buyer for this house, or no, we do have buyers, but at this level they expect more and you do need to update or do something like that. So we kind of have the range, which is great.
Yeah.
We do have a lot. We are actually going to do a first-time home buyer seminar or series, probably just a seminar, and we're going to do it on February 24th. It's going to be available in person here in our offices or online. We will have our panel of experts. We will have Dave Craig, our lender, and just a lot of information because there's a lot to unpack here when it comes to first-time home buyers and all that's available to them. So thank you both.
Yes.
So before we start our market update, here's my little, I'm gonna get on my soapbox for just a minute. So often as agents, as realtors, when we're out, people know you're a real estate agent, they ask you, how's the market? If you ask an agent, how's the market? And they go, great, I'm super busy. Go ask another agent. Great for who? Great for me? That's not what you're asking. What's left unsaid is, how's the market and what's that mean for me? Here at Truen Group, we are constantly not only doing the work and out there in the marketplace, but we are looking at numbers, we're analyzing numbers, we're talking to the experts, and we know our neighborhoods. So when you come up to us and you say, how's the market? We're gonna say something like, it's a little bit challenging right now. There's like not a lot of inventory, and we have a plethora of buyers. And what area do you live in? Oh, I live in this neighborhood. Oh, that house just came on like 3 doors down from you. We're gonna have a more in-depth number and a more in-depth answer for you. So anytime you want, when you see us out in the neighborhoods or you see us around town or give us a call and ask us how the market is, we're not just gonna say, great, I'm super busy. We have a lot more information to give you. So getting off my soapbox, I'm gonna speak with Dave Craig, our lender from Mortgages Unlimited, and we're gonna talk serious numbers. So I'm here with Dave Craig from Mortgages Unlimited. He's our preferred lender, partly because you have all these numbers. You just are so good at like giving us the information we need, but also how you treat our clients. But before we talk about what he's going to talk about, which is interest rates and inflation and all that fun stuff, I want you to know that we look at these numbers, and I'm not going to go over them right now. They're further down in the newsletter, or monthly we post on Instagram a marketing update with some stats. But when we look, we're kind of on pace like we were last year. Like in Washington County last year in January, there were 299 homes sold. This year, 223. Pretty close. St. Croix County over in Wisconsin, a little less this year than last. But, you know, we've had some, like we said earlier in the newsletter, some pretty cold weather out there. But everything seems to be on pace, and that's what we're seeing. But let's talk, because we have people constantly reading the newspaper online and kind of asking us a lot of questions.
Yes, so I'm sure you've all heard in the news there's concern about inflation with the economy right now.
Right. And we know, though, that when inflation is up, home values are up. And
Correct.
they usually outpace inflation.
And we have seen that going on this year. And so when inflation's going up, the Federal Reserve usually reacts by raising interest rates. And they've kind of made that announcement that coming here forth, maybe starting in March, they're going to raise the federal prime rate. Now, the prime rate is not directly related to mortgage rates,
Right.
but it does have an indirect effect. And what happens when they say that is they're announcing we're going to change them in March, but the market and the mortgage market starts responding now.
Okay.
And so what we've seen over the last 3-4 weeks is interest rates going up a little bit. And so they've gone from the low 3s to maybe the higher end 3% range. But what they basically have said in the last couple of days is that they're going to really kind of watch inflation closely and watch the data. So they backed off a little bit. So what I see happening now is rates have gone to this 3 3/4 range. And I think they're going to hang here, maybe drop a little bit, but probably stay in this range and stay here for the next 2 or 3 months or so.
So when the Fed says we're gonna, I think, was it 3 times and now it's 4 times this year?
Right.
Does every time, are we expecting in 2022 a little jump up?
Probably. So
Okay.
if they keep raising them, we're probably going to see a little jump. And like they were saying, they're going to watch the data really closely.
Right.
So they have announced that they don't want to upset the apple cart, even though they did upset the apple cart already.
Right.
So I think they saw what happened with the announcement that they made, and they're going to kind of maybe back off and try to make sure that they don't make a move that's unnecessary for the economy.
Well, and I mean, the difference between a 0.25% in interest, I mean, how much buying power would you say that affects?
I would say 0.25% is probably going to affect $10,000 or so.
Okay, so not horrible.
Not
This
huge.
isn't a panic button.
No,
And we're still, I mean, you'll hear us say this all the time, we're still historically low. Rates are still historically low.
and they are extremely low. In fact, they're still lower than pre-COVID rates.
Yeah,
So what happened with COVID is that rates were in the low fours, and because of everything going on with the economy and COVID and things shutting down, rates started dropping down to those low threes. So we're really seeing it kind of get back to that pre-COVID area of what it was.
are we anticipating 4 by the end of the year?
I'm anticipating 4 to 4.5 probably at the end of the year.
Okay, so we'll keep going up on that. All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
So as you can see, we have a lot of experts here at Truen Group, not only on first-time home buyers, downsizers, upsizers, the stats, our lender. We have people that we can have help you if you need painters and carpenters and all of those things. And speaking of that, I'm gonna invite you into my townhome for a couple minutes because Rehab Corner this month is about a railing system. So today in Rehab Corner, we're going to talk about railing systems. So we moved into our townhome a few months ago, and everything is very blonde wood, like maple birch look. And the railing, I mean, everything's in good condition, but the railing system just seemed chunky. And we were looking for more of a clean, contemporary, kind of minimalizing our whole decor. So we decided with the help of our designer to go with a iron rail system. We are using Anchor Iron Company. They were recommended by my niece and the transaction coordinator, Jessica. She's having her railing system redone. There were options for us. If you have a railing system that you'd like to change out, maybe it's oak and maybe it's more ornate and you want to streamline it, you could keep your top rail, stain that darker or paint it, do something different, and just replace the spindles. Or you could just not go with iron at all and just replace in different wood spindles or paint combinations, stain combinations. So there are a lot of things you can do. What we decided to do though is replace the whole system. And we ordered ahead of time. I can't say enough about this company. They are very professional. Their salespeople are great. The installers came in very courteous. I mean, it's spotless here now. They cleaned absolutely everything up. It just went seamless. And they were as expected. Their timeline was as expected. It doesn't happen overnight though. So if you're thinking about this, plan ahead. They come out, they measure, you have options for your design. They were recommended by Jessica, who is our transaction coordinator, and my niece. And she's actually doing vertical instead of the spindles up and down. She's doing a vertical rail system in hers. And so again, a lot of options, plan ahead, but then you can remove, when you remove your old railing system, it's a lot easier than you think. We had someone do it, but it just takes a little elbow grease and you can get it removed. The other thing we did, because we will be replacing the flooring, is this base plate that's wood. While the railing system was off, the old was off and the new wasn't here yet, we sanded that down so when we replace the flooring, we can easily stain it to match. So kind of think 2 steps ahead of where you're at to make sure you're trying to simplify the process. The other thing is when they call you, they'll tell you they'll be here. Today's Thursday. They showed up today. We needed the system removed by the time they got here. It is an open stairway. So if you have kids or pets or something, we just set up a bunch of chairs to make sure no one took a tumble. But you want to do it right before they get here. But look, it is beautiful. I think we're throwing up some before and afters. Again, Anchor Iron Company, great job. And we have a designer if you want options, and she can help you with that. And I'm excited. I'm excited to see when everything's done what this looks like. So stay tuned. So thanks for sticking with us in our February newsletter. All the information we talked about is below if you just want to click on different links. Remember, you can register for our first-time home buyer seminar coming up on February 24th. Remember to check out Stillwater, Hudson, the St. Croix Valley for all the fun events we have. Good luck to your favorite team in the Super Bowl, and happy Valentine's.